Today we have the 2019 Mazda CX-5 Signature. For 2019, it's more luxurious, it's more powerful, and it's more refined than it ever has been. Mazda didn't just give this more power, there's a lot of new features, a whole bunch of stuff to check out. I'm gonna give you a full detailed review and test drive. Let's get started. For 2019, the Mazda CX-5 gives us two new trims, the Grand Touring Reserve and the Signature, which is what we have right here. You still get the Sport Touring and GT, but you get the Turbo with the top two trims. Let's take a look at all the new features and technology starting on the outside. So first of all, right now I have the daytime running lights turned on. LED daytime running lights are on the Grand Touring and up, and then full LED headlights are standard on all trims. And we have the adaptive front lighting system, so the headlights actually move left to right with the steering wheel. They do a really good job at night. These headlights are fantastic. Our trim also gives us LED fog lights. They're really small down below down there, and then you've got the intercooler below for the turbo. Big Mazda emblem on that black grille, a little bit of a unique design right there. And this color is the machine gray metallic. This is an extra $300 of paint, but I think it looks really good. It's very clean looking, very sleek, and it fits this CX-5 really well. As a lot of you know, with Mazda, this is their typical design language, very similar to what you see on the CX-9 and the rest of the Mazdas, and I find it attractive. I think it looks very good. And with these wheels right here, there's a new design for this Signature. We've got these 19-inch wheels, then they're dark silver on the Signature. 225/55 series tires. You can get 17 starting on the base model, and the new design with lighter wheels starts on the GT model. As you can see, I have the blinker on, and the turn signal is LED on those mirrors. These mirrors will also power fold, which is new, so I'll show you that when we use the key fob, and they have our blind spot monitor in them as well. Another thing new with this 2019 CX-5 is they retuned the suspension and the chassis for improved performance and comfort. And now G-vectoring is standard. It's a software system, engine braking system. It gives you more precise steering response. It shifts weight to the front tires when you turn. We'll talk about how the handling is in the test drive portion a little bit later. If you're curious about length, this CX-5 is 179 inches. 11 inches smaller is the CX-3, and then at 199 inches is the CX-9. Now, for comparison's sake, the RAV4, which is about average for length, is 181 inches. Then once we get to the back here, we've got LED combination taillights, standard on the GT trim and up. They look pretty sleek at night as well. I do like the night appearance of this Mazda CX-5. We even have LED license plate lights. And then down below, you've got a dual exhaust with bright finish, and that's standard on every single trim level. So what do y'all think of the exterior of the Mazda? I think it is sleek, it is sharp, and I'm a fan of it. As far as some of the safety features and driver assist tech, we have rain sensing wipers, and then we have the Eye Active Sense technology. And some of the available stuff with that is an adaptive front lighting system that we have, blind spot monitoring with rear cross traffic alert, auto high beams, hill start assist, lane departure warning with lane keep assist, radar cruise control with full stop and go function, high and low speed automatic emergency braking. Starting on the Grand Touring, you'll have a power tailgate. You can get it on the Touring though, but there's just no foot activated motion on any of the CX-5 models. It's not available. So if that's something you're looking for, it's not here, but we have a button to lower it down, a handle right there. And behind the second row, this will give us about 31 cubic feet. And then you'll get about 56.5 or something like that when you fold those seats down. There is a compact spare tire standard on every single trim, which is great. A little bit of storage in the pockets. We've got a power plug right there. You can fold the seats down with handles, which is fantastic. This cargo cover is optional equipment. And let me go ahead and show you. So I push that. One of my favorite things is you have a 40-20-40 split. So you can stick some long stuff through there. Then you can lower down the other side, and you get a pretty nice flat load floor. And same goes with this side, just like that. Then one nice little feature on the Signature is our cargo lamp is LED. So that's really nice. Overall, still a functional storage area, just on the smaller side, about 16 to 17 feet smaller than some of the leading competitors. Push button start is standard on all trims. Our key fob is the typical familiar slim Mazda key fob with our remote tailgate. No remote start will come on any trim level, but you can buy it as an accessory. So every trim gets push button start, but our touring model is the one that starts with the smart key system. Right now it's locked, the mirrors are folded in, and then you can push that button to unlock it. And then if you want, you can have it automatically lock as you walk away and you see the mirrors fold in. You can turn that off or on. At the base sport model for these front seats, you'll get 6-way manual driver and passenger cloth seats. On the Touring, you'll get 6-way manual leatherette heated seats. That also includes lumbar support. On the Grand Touring is when you'll get leather with 2-position memory, and that's right here instead of on the door. It's also heated, 8-way power, and that includes lumbar support. The Grand Touring Reserve then adds the ventilated seat function. And then once we get to the Signature trim right here at 5'9", sitting up good and tall, I've got good headspace with the seat midway through its track. You can sit kind of low, you can sit kind of high in here, which is pretty nice. You've still got the same power adjustments and lumbar support, memory seats, heated, ventilated, and then this brown Napa leather. And these seats are pretty comfortable. They're a little bit on the firm side if you ask me, but they do seem to have some pretty nice shaping to them as well. Overall, I can't complain with these seats. The passenger gets the same power seats, but no lumbar support and no front tilt adjustment. The steering wheel, leather wrapped on all trims. We can tilt and telescope, and we've got a good range of motion available as well. The interior of the Mazda CX-5 is very well laid out. It's aesthetically pleasing. It's got very solid build quality. You have genuine layered wood trim on the Signature and satin chrome accent on the Signature. Let's take a quick look over here at the door. We've got some nice finish on the armrest up there. This armrest is padded, but it's just really thin. My arm's kind of been falling off back here, but one small complaint. We've got all automatic up-down windows right there. Mirror controls, everything has nice feeling to it. This genuine wood trim, the accent pieces, everything looks really good. My big bottle fits in there, and then a little bit of extra storage right over here. Right over here, we can open up our tailgate, do traction control, look at your 360 camera, parking sonar, and our lane departure system right there. Even a little bit more trim and accent pieces right here. We do have push button start. Let's go ahead and start it up. One thing about startup is that head unit can be kind of slow, but it's really not that terrible. It does start playing your stuff pretty soon. The steering wheel is leather wrapped. It is also heated, and that's available on the Grand Touring Reserve as well. It's heated from here down to here, which is where your hands go. But it'd be nice if the top and bottom were heated as well, but it is nice and leather. Leather standard on every trim level. You've got easy to use controls. You can control music, volume, and seeking over here. And then the info button is for our display that I'll show you in a second. Your calling options, distance for your radar cruise, more cruise control settings, and that's easy to use. And I do like that it works really well. It's pretty smooth, and it's full stop and go. The steering wheel is relatively thin. I'd like to see maybe a little bit more bulk, but you have a little bit of sport grip up here. This 7-inch display is new for the Mazda CX-5, and it's on the Grand Touring model and up. It's a 7-inch digital display going from the volume or the temperature over there up to the fuel gauge on the right. The instantaneous fuel is over here, and then your fuel gauge, your range is on the right, and those are permanent. And then the middle can change. As you can see, our trip, we have basic trip computer stuff, your safety sense stuff, any service due, and it's a little bit more basic than some other models. I'd like to see more information on here, but it's kind of cool that you can scroll through and even make it an actual speedometer, even though it is digital. And then our tachometer over there on the left. The rest of the interior is laid out really, really well. The build quality in here is fantastic, especially the Signature trim. We've got even more wood and trim pieces, the same treatments on that door. This upper portion is of a nice material. It seems very solid. I've had no rattles. And then right up above, you can see the active driving display, which is a nice touch. It's not the flip-up screen, which is even better. And it has traffic sign recognition on top of that. The active driving display is on the Grand Touring Reserve and the Signature model. And then we even have windshield wiper de-icer included on the Grand Touring Reserve. We still have the same 7-inch touchscreen, but new now is Android Auto and Apple CarPlay starting on the Touring model. When you're at your home screen, you can just hit the up button with your controller, and then you can select Apple CarPlay that fast. And Apple CarPlay is very seamless in here. It works really well. I've had no problems with it. You can still use Siri and all of that, of course. And it's so easy just to get back to the Mazda screen with our Mazda Connect dial. Very similar, just like other Mazdas here. Nothing really different with that. But we have a 360 degree monitor. We can do that in reverse. We can do that with just a push of a button. But it works pretty well. You can see next to the vehicle. You can see a couple different views in front of the vehicle, behind the vehicle, of course. There's the side view. It's pretty neat. I like it. It's just really low resolution. That's about the only thing I can complain about it. Otherwise, it's really nice to have. Sirius XM, 4-speaker system on the bass, then 6, and then we have a 10-speaker Bose system, which is on the Grand Touring and up. Just down from there, we have our air vents. And then we have dual zone automatic climate control. That is on the Touring model and up. Everything is well laid out and easy to use. And one improvement is on the Mazda 3, I complained that these knobs were kind of cheap and plasticky. These are metal and they feel great. There should be no problem with these. Heated steering wheel button, 3-tier heated seats, ventilated seats. It's all easy to use and well laid out. Storage bin right in front. My phone fits in there just fine with a 12-volt power outlet as well. No wireless charging in here. That's one thing to note. Moving back, our shifter is leather wrapped. It looks nice. You can even put it in manual mode to downshift or upshift. And my only thing is that it takes up so much space. We have a sport mode right there, and it just says sport on the on your driving display. I wish that, I mean, this looks really nice, but I wish that this was a little bit less, took up less space. Electronic parking brake, brake hold button, the Mazda Connect system, and you can put your favorites over here. This dial feels really good. You can push it down, you can twist it, you can move it all over the place. Quick shortcuts, volume knob right up there as well. Pretty easy to use. It takes a little bit getting used to, but overall I like it. These bottle holders are nice. They take big bottles and small bottles. My only complaint is when you have 2 bottles here and you want to use the Mazda Connect system, it does get in the way. And that is down from this armrest, so your wrist is kind of in a down position, which is not ideal for ergonomics, but it's not a big deal. And then pretty soft armrest. It's just really small. We've got this little tray right here. You can move that out of the way. You've got 2 USBs, 12-volt power outlet, auxiliary port, SD card. This can be moved as well, but it's just a small storage bin. The Signature trim even gives us a nice door handle on here. Soft opening, nicely lined, decent average size space. Just more things that give this a premium feeling to it. Our model has this frameless auto dimming rearview mirror. It's a regular auto dimming rearview mirror on the Touring trim, or available on the Touring trim and up. But ours is frameless on the Signature, and then we have our home controls right here as well. Even LED lights up there, visor, and then just a slide out piece for those, sunglass holder, LED interior lighting, and then we have this moonroof. There's no panoramic roof. If that's something that you would be interested in, it would take away from the driving dynamics from Mazda. And then you even have a black headliner, which is new for the Signature trim as well. It's nice, it looks fairly sharp. There's even ambient lighting in here, as you can see right there, some in a couple different spots as well. Just a really nice laid out interior. And then looking behind us, in an SUV, never really all that great. Do have a little bit of space right there, that back window. Not terrible, but not great either. About what you would expect in this class. All right, let's check out the back seats. We still have the nice wood trim and accents back here, a bottle holder right there. These seats are also pretty nice. Center armrest is not available on the base model. You can recline. The 2 USBs are in there as well. These are even heated seats. Let's hop in. At 5'9", sitting behind myself, as you can see, I've got good foot space, good knee space as well. And sitting up tall, I have no problems. I've got plenty of room for headspace. There are 2 air vents back here as well. You might be wondering where the USB ports are. Let me show you. Right here in this center armrest, fold this down. First of all, on the Grand Touring Reserve, you can get these heated seats and up. 3-tier even, which is fantastic. 2 normal size bottle holders. Get this thing out of the way. And then we've got 2 fast charging USB ports, even a soft little storage bin right there. That's really nice. Up above, there are LED lights, blank handles on each side as well. And then when I scooted over, there is a good size hump in the middle. It would be uncomfortable to sit there. And with this front seat all the way back, me at 5'9", my knees are right in the back of it. I can't sit here comfortably. These back seats don't slide back, but it's still a pretty spacious area as long as the seat is not all the way back. For the 2019 CX-5, no longer is there just the naturally aspirated 2.5-liter engine. Now on the Grand Touring Reserve and the Signature, we get this 2.5-liter turbocharged engine. Just like we've seen in the Mazda 6 and the CX-9, this 2.5-liter Skyactiv Turbo will give us, with regular fuel, 227 horsepower, up to 250 with premium, 310 pound-feet of torque that comes out at 2,000 RPM. If you have this turbo engine in the Grand Touring Reserve or the Signature, it's all-wheel drive only. Otherwise, if you go with the Sport Touring or Grand Touring, you can get front or all-wheel drive. And then that 2.5-liter naturally aspirated engine will give you 187 horsepower, 186 pound-feet of torque. A 6-speed automatic is standard on every single trim. And then miles per gallon for the naturally aspirated option is 25 city, 31 highway. And then this turbocharged engine with all-wheel drive is 22 city and 27 highway. And if you're curious, you can tow up to 2,000 pounds. Thank you everyone so much for tuning in for the test drive. If you've stuck around this long, go ahead and subscribe down below if you want to see more videos like this. But my first impression of this CX-5 is that it's effortless driving. I mean, it's fun to drive, but the throttle with this turbo, you just don't even have to lay into it at all to get going. You just push a little bit and you get the power right away, which is fantastic. Let me give you a quick little example. Just coasting, low speed, get into it a little bit, and it'll put you back right away without even full throttle. I mean, you don't have to get into it, which is great. And if you are light on the throttle, you can get pretty good miles per gallon as well. The brakes, on the other hand, they feel a little soft to me. I've gotten used to them, but when I first got in here, I was like, man, these things are a lot softer than I was expecting. Definitely not in line with the way the acceleration feels, but they get you stopped just fine. They're just on the softer side, in my opinion. One thing with the handling is this does have G-vectoring standard on all trims. And when I've had this in cruise control and I've gone around some turns that are relatively sharp, you can feel it more with that cruise control on, the vehicle actually braking you a little bit, and it really does help you kind of dive into the corners. The handling is very good. The steering is very good. The vehicle feels pretty well planted, and it's fun to drive, especially for this class. I would say out of everything I've driven, it's the most fun to drive in this class. And we seem to have pretty good grip, even though we don't have super wide tires either, so that's really nice. Now it's been raining for a little while, so the road is wet, and then you can kind of see how the rain sensing wipers work, but with it being wet, I've had really good traction here, and the road's not soaked, but some puddles. Let's just go ahead and get on it. I'm gonna put it in sport mode. From a start, sport's not gonna do much, but once we get the RPMs up, it's more fun. Traction control kicked on a little bit, but still, from a standstill, hardly any slippage at all. I would love to take this thing into the snow. There have been some recent videos around New Year of 2019 that came out with the CX-5 in the snow, if you guys want to check those out. But handling when it's wet, no problems at all. This does have the G-vectoring like I've said, but woo! Bumpy, crappy roads slip me around a little bit, but very fun to drive this vehicle. And then one thing I remember was growing up in South Dakota with the ice and snow, slippery crud, starting from a decline like this was the worst. But with all-wheel drive, you're just fine. And it's hard for me to compare the handling going around a wet corner to just the front wheel drive, but accelerating into that corner, I could definitely tell that I had better grip. And in sport mode, it holds the RPMs a lot more. And like I've said, you don't even have to lay into it to get some good acceleration. If I switch it out of sport mode, it instantly upshifts and the RPMs drop below 2,000. Put it in sport mode, downshift, 2 3/4, a little bit of acceleration. Very quick, very peppy, especially in the mid-range of speed, like 20, 30, 40, 50. In that range, you get on it, you go. Passing power, it's excellent. At the time of this shooting, I have not taken my decibel ratings yet, but I'll have those down below. I know this is not as quiet as the CX-9 that I drove later last year, but this still seems to be quiet. We have laminated glass here, which is nice on these front doors, and road noise does not really get in all that much. I have heard a little bit of wind noise, but not too much at all. And another thing is, I haven't heard a single squeak or rattle, not even on the roughest roads that I've been on in this thing, which is fantastic. The road that I'm currently on is one that's not in very good shape, not in very good condition, and you can feel the stiffness of this car. It has a stiffer suspension than, say, the Rogue or the RAV4, but it's still comfortable. It's compliant, you feel the bumps, but it's a very good balance of ride and handling. And full throttle. Transmission is very smooth. And it's even holding the RPMs a little bit. Still get that low end torque. Pretty fun to drive for this kind of vehicle. The all-wheel drive seems to go pretty well. You can definitely tell from a stop when you accelerate fairly hard that you've got that front wheel drive bias, which you're gonna have. But there's not any slippage. There's no burning out really. If you're buying this for family purposes, you could benefit from a little bit more practicality out of this. It's not like this is impractical, but some of the other competition offers a little bit more storage, which is one thing. But this still has plenty of space in the back, plenty of leg space behind me. Space right here is good, and it's a safe vehicle. It's got good ratings for that. It's comfortable, it's quiet, it's well-mannered when you drive, and it's just an excellent overall package. And if you're looking for a bunch of features, bells and whistles, but you don't necessarily desire or need this turbo engine, go for the Touring, because you can get a lot of features on that, or the Grand Touring especially. I mean, it's an amazing value, those Touring and Grand Touring levels, with what you can get on them and still have good, efficient powertrain. If you're looking for some competition, I recently reviewed the Honda CR-V. I'll put a link up above for that. Otherwise, thank y'all so much for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe for more videos like this down below, and we'll catch you guys next time.